The word overcapacity features in more and more news reports these days. Now, Western politicians and officials are increasingly voicing worries that China is experiencing an excess in production capacity due to a rapid increase in manufacturing, which they fear could potentially wipe out their domestic industries.
Concerned about overcapacity.
Where we saw the overcapacity being built.
About overcapacity.
Excess capacity.
Overcapacity.
So first, what is overcapacity? Basically, it means that production significantly exceeds what is needed in the markets. So essentially, there's more made than is needed. But just like everything else in the business world, the relationship between supply and demand is delicate.
但不平衡它是个普遍的。适度的产大于需，它有利于的话就市场竞争，也有利于的话就优胜劣汰。
To be fair, supply-demand imbalances are common, especially in a new industry, something new like the EV, electric vehicle market.
Now, we're seeing an increase in business investment in a number of new industries targeted by the PRC's industrial policy. And that includes electric vehicles.
And a lot of times, companies don't make adjustments based on what happens at this very moment. To judge whether it's really excess capacity or not, we have to look at it from a long-term perspective. Now here's some data. According to predictions by China's State Information Center, the country's EV penetration rate, a number measuring the potential popularity of China's EVs, will likely to grow from 35% last year to 60% in 10 years. 10 years may sound like a long time, so let's take a look at a forecast for this year, 2024. According to Wang Chuanfu, chairman and president of BYD, China's largest EV car maker, actually the world's largest, China's monthly EV penetration rate will likely surpass 50% in 2024. So, huge demand. And domestically, economists say growth potential in China's third and fourth tier cities, as well as rural areas, is huge, especially for mini EVs. Here's my colleague Xu Yi in Liuzhou, southern Guangxi. It's a relatively small city, but the penetration rate for EVs in the city already exceeded 51% last year.
These models are priced under 60,000 yuan and they're much easier to park. They're specifically designed for city commuting and short trips.
In a city like Liuzhou, around 70% of drivers travel alone or with just one companion, and they don't often travel long distances. Knowing exactly what locals need, the local government and the EV car makers have sought to deliver competitive prices and better designed infrastructure.
In Liuzhou City, a 10-minute charging circle has been established within the urban area, with over 1,900 public charging stations and over 20,000 public charging infrastructure. And this extensive charging network also covers 99% of townships.
So given the popularity right now and forecasts for even bigger demand ahead, both domestically and internationally, I guess overcapacity isn't an accurate term for China's EV production. Another thing is the price. From the perspective of the Western world, overcapacity can be felt through lower prices. Some are suggesting that China is essentially pouring lower-priced EVs to the world, in turn leaving no space for their own car manufacturers. But if we're talking about the price, leading Chinese EVs are actually priced roughly double on average in Europe than they are here in China due to tariffs. But they are still popular in the European market. Based on a release by the European Federation for Transport and Environment, Chinese branded EVs are set to account for 11% of the EU's EV market this year, and that could rise 20% by 2027. As for the US market, sorry, they're not available in America yet.
If I were looking for an inexpensive commuter car, or just running around doing shopping, or even like in some sort of medical campus, retirement campus, university campus, this would be perfect.
So yes, China's EV companies like BYD are offering affordable prices, but there's this Gen Z slang in China called 内卷, which literally can be translated to inward roll, or we can call it involution forces. So essentially, the constant internal competition within a group. You work hard, you are more efficient with a more affordable price, you stay in the market. So lower prices may be a result of the hard work by the Chinese, their constant innovation, and their supply chain advantage, which in turn lower costs in logistics, labor, and land management.
BYD designs, develop, engineers its own batteries at scale. So not only they have the capability and the capacity for their own products, but they're also supplying batteries globally with plans to build battery plants all over the world.
They are one of the top companies in the world building lithium iron phosphate batteries in particular. They cost about 30 to 40% less per kilowatt hour to manufacture.
Now, BYD does not just make its own batteries, it also makes other components as well. Take its EV seal as an example. 75% of the components were made in-house. So at a time when the whole world is pursuing green and low-carbon transformation, at a time when we all wish to keep our climate commitments, the new energy sector will for sure continue to grow along with market demands for EVs and others. So why don't we just let them compete? The market decides. Survival of the fittest.